In 1857, the United States Supreme Court delivered a decision so cruel and so catastrophic that it pushed the nation closer to civil war, a ruling that declared an entire group of people million as reckless, a ruling that said black Americans were not citizens and could never be. This is the story of the Dred Scott decision, the worst Supreme Court decision in American history. Dred Scott was born into slavery around 1799. For decades, he belonged to a man named Peter Blow, and later to an Army doctor named John Emerson. Scott traveled with Emerson to states and territories where slavery was illegal, including Illinois and what is now Minnesota. Under the law at the time, living on free soil made a person legally free. When Emerson died, Scott took the only path left to him. He sued for his freedom. In 1846, Dred Scott filed his case in Missouri. At first, he won. A jury agreed that because he had lived on free soil, he should be recognized as a free man. But political pressure began to build. Pro-slavery officials didn't like the precedent his case might set. Scott's victory was overturned. For the next decade, the case rose higher and higher through the courts until, at last, it reached the United States Supreme Court. America in the 1850s was a powder keg. Slave states and free states were locked in a fragile balance. The Missouri Compromise had been crafted to hold the nation together, but tensions were erupting everywhere. Elections, debates, even the streets. Every new territory raised the same question: would it be free or slaveholding? When the Supreme Court agreed to hear the Dred Scott case, many hoped it would bring clarity. But instead, the court saw an opportunity to impose its own vision of the nation's future. Chief Justice Roger B. Taney believed he could settle the slavery question forever, and on March 6, 1857, he tried. In a 7-2 ruling, the court decided against Dred Scott. Taney declared that black people enslaved or free were not citizens of the United States. He wrote that they had no rights which the white man is bound to respect. The court went further, striking down the Missouri Compromise entirely and declaring that Congress had no power to limit slavery in the territories. Overnight, slavery was effectively permitted everywhere that it had not already been banned by state law. The nation erupted. Abolitionists called the ruling immoral and lawless. Free states condemned it as an assault on human dignity. Slaveholding states celebrated it as a victory. In a single moment, the Supreme Court had taken a freedom suit and turned it into a national crisis. The fragile political balance shattered. The ruling helped elevate Abraham Lincoln as a leading voice against the expansion of slavery. It hardened positions on both sides and closed the door on compromise. Just 4 years later, civil war broke out. A decision meant to secure slavery's future pushed the country into its deadliest conflict. After the Civil War, the Dred Scott decision was finally overturned. The 13th Amendment abolished slavery. The 14th Amendment established birthright citizenship and guaranteed equal protection under the law. Everything the court had denied black Americans, the Constitution now affirmed, but the damage of the decision could never be fully undone. It had already helped ignite a war that claimed more than 600,000 lives. Why revisit a decision handed down more than a century and a half ago? Because it reveals the immense power the Supreme Court holds, the power to protect rights or to destroy them. The Dred Scott decision stands as a reminder that the law is not always just, that even the highest court can deliver the lowest judgment, and that a single ruling can alter the course of a nation. Dred Scott v. Sandford wasn't just a bad decision. It was a catastrophic failure of justice, one that nearly shattered the United States. And so the question remains, can a single court ruling still change the future of this country today? And if it can, are we paying attention?